Okay, so this is a quick video just to show you some of the tools that are available to you. We are going to be expanding our, I guess, our digital toolbox by using more things outside of just the videos and stuff. One of the things I want to show you how to do is to find the textbook, and the way you find the textbook is by going to the district web page and finding my page first. So again, to get to my page, you go to the district sps186.org, go to schools, southeast, look for your teachers, and find me and my face right here. And what you'll notice, I know we clicked that for some of the videos during the year, but that's really not going to be used for that. But what you should notice if you scroll down is a link right here that looks like a textbook, and it says right here Pearson textbook link. In there in the description it says students can use this link to log into the Pearson website. An account has already been created for them. That's you, with a generic passcode. The username is the student's lunch pen. So I even have the hint here for you. Whenever you come to my page to find the book, your username is just your lunch pen, not the SE like I do on MathXL, but it's just your lunch pen, and your passcode is lowercase p 12345. So as long as you do that, you can get into the actual Pearson or our textbook website, which has all the information you need. Now to get there, simply click anywhere on this link and it will take you to a site that's just for our district, that again has your username. So if your username was 999999, if that's your lunch pen, and then you would type in P12345, then you would go ahead and that would get you into it. Now of course I am not a student, but I have my own login, which will look slightly different than yours. But just to show you what happens once you click here, it might show some things here, but you are looking for Pearson Realize. Again, not all these, you're looking for Pearson Realize, which you will click here, and that will take you into the site. Now I think the first time you go in, it's going to ask you what cool background you want, which I know a lot of you don't care about, and what a lot of stuff that they need, like a picture of a frog and some other things. But once you make that selection, you should get to a screen that looks something like this, which has programs. And again, you want to click on your programs to kind of see what's going on here, and that is what takes you to a menu that has a whole lot of things that you can use. Now this first menu, which is your table of contents, has all your chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 12, because there are 12 chapters in our textbook. There is a shortcut to your text, which I think is probably here. I'm not sure what yours would say, but I'm pretty sure it says e-text up here, which if you clicked it and then waited, hope this doesn't take forever, and then there should be a student edition text that you can click here. Now that is one way to get to your text. We'll get to that in just a second. Go back. That would be the exit. Another way to get to your textbook is actually in the area that we were on first, if I can get there. For example, let's say I wanted to get to chapter 2 in the textbook. I could go to chapter 2 on this link here, the table of contents, and I can go to chapter 2 edition text. I'm pretty sure that's there. Or again, you can click on the section you want, because you notice 2 has 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Let's say I want the book page for section 2.4. I can click on 2.4, and again, it should open up the text for lesson 2.4, and it'll automatically, and it usually opens in a new window, but it will automatically open up the book right to section 2.4, which will give you everything you need to work and learn about whatever is going on in section 2.4. This is your actual textbook. I have not handed them out to you yet. I'm not sure when I will, but for those of you who think you need a textbook, here it is. It's got all the information you need. You've got your table of contents, which is all your chapters here, 1 through 12, and again, you can surf through that, which we are going to do. But again, let's go back to what I was doing before, which was, again, if you want the e-text, click your student edition e-text, and it typically opens a book right up to the cover of it, and then from there you can kind of navigate to wherever you want to go. Let's say, for example, that I give you an assignment and I say turn to page 421. Right here you have your page. You can click right there, type in 421, hit enter, and it will actually take you to page 421. There you have all the questions that are on page 421. So if I ever give you a textbook assignment, which I'm planning on doing sometime just to kind of give you some extra exercises to do that aren't just on the computer, that is how you get to those. If I said go to section 5 or chapter 5 section 3, what you can do is, if you notice, if you click on the folder for chapter 5, it just takes you to the beginning of chapter 5. You don't want to do that. What you click is this arrow, which opens the section for chapter 5, and then you scroll down to section 3, which is slope-intercept form. You click that, and again it takes you right to section 5.3, where you can read and get all the information you want. Very big tool that you have here, as I close these out. Let me make sure I don't close out the wrong one. But a very important tool you have here is something called Virtual Nerd. And what Virtual Nerd is, as we go back to our original spot where all this stuff is, give me a second. This is the table of contents page. Let's say I'm on chapter 4, and I'm learning about something that the teacher didn't really teach that well. Let me get back to this table of contents area first. Still on chapter 2, and here we are. So table of contents, again, the first place you get to whenever you click on programs is going to lead you again to where all the chapters are. So again, let's say that I'm working on chapter 4, section 2, and there's an assignment and I really don't understand what's going on, so I can go on to chapter 4 here in the book. I can go to section 2, which is right here, patterns and linear functions, which you may not know anything about just yet, but we will get there. And you scroll through all the options that it has, which really you don't use a lot of those, but you see this thing here. It looks like a little power button, and it says 4.2 Virtual Nerd, what is a function? If you click on that, what you actually get is a actual video, and here's how you can see how long the video is, 8 minutes and 13 seconds, that if I hit play and you listen carefully, you can actually get taught. Sorry, I'll turn that down a little bit. But you can actually listen to her teach you exactly what that concept is about. So it's important that you understand that if the lesson wasn't good enough to cover all the bases, that you actually have a teacher inside of your textbook. So that's important also. One more thing I want to cover before we close this thing out is on your Math XL. I'm going to the Math XL now, and I'm going to go to a chapter 5-6 review that I did for my 134B class, just to show you something else that is here on a lot of questions. Now what you'll notice as I go to question 29 is that it says it is a, actually that's not it, I think 28 maybe. Some questions are instructor created. That means I made them. I think you've seen them, the ones especially with the mistakes that I make. And if you hit question help, which I don't think a lot of you have seen, but if you hit question help for mine, there's really not a lot here. You do have a calculator that I tend to make available for you, so you don't have to have one in case you're at home working on this. Ask my instructor really doesn't do anything. I think I had one person hit that just to send me a joke, which was actually pretty corny. Print doesn't work, but other than that, like I said, on my questions, if it's a question that I made up, there is not a lot of instructor or question help on this, which is why I want you to actually ask me for it. But there are going to be a lot of questions that I give you over the future that are actually from the book, and when you hit question help on those questions, you get a different look. One of the things is help me solve this. If you hit that button, let's say you didn't know how to solve it, you get something that actually walks you through what to do. So it talks about the intercepts of a graph, blah blah blah. You hit continue, and then it actually says how do we find the x-intercept of a given line, and you'll have to answer it. If I answer incorrectly and hit check answer, it'll say nope, that's not correct. So again, it'll kind of explain it to you, and then it'll walk you through the problem one step at a time. If 6x, that'll be 6x I believe. And then again, as you notice, it walks through if 6x is equal to 24, then x must equal 4. And then again, like I said, it walks you through the whole thing, but notice as you go, pay attention to the fact this has 6x plus 4y equals 24. It wants the y-intercept, so we will let x equals 0 as solve for y. That'll be y equals 6, so just don't mind that part. But I want you to pay attention to the fact again that it said 6x plus 4y equals 24 when I hit question help, and look what happens after I close this. It changes the problem, and then I go ahead and work my problem out. So the x-intercept would be 8, and the y-intercept would be, let's say, 10. But either way, that's one of the tools that you have there. Again, is the question help, which is to help me solve this. If you like that, try it out a couple times, see if that helps you to get it, because the bottom line is that you just understand it. I teach in my own way. I try to expand on it as many ways as possible, but I teach in my own way, and I like to make sure that you at least have options to learn from other different perspectives. View an example is similar. What it does here is it just kind of talks you through all the things that's going on. Instead of making you work through it, it gives you something to read and actually talks you through it instead of making you do the work. But it still tries to help you at least get an idea what's going on. What you will also typically see in question help is a video. Well, the video is actually your virtual nerd for just that section. And so if you hit that, then it will open up a virtual nerd that will hopefully kind of give you an idea on what it is that you're looking at to answer this question. You also have inside this question help, not glossary, I didn't want that, sorry about that, but the textbook. And if you hit textbook, it will typically open it up right to the page that you need if you need to read about what the heck a x-intercept and a y-intercept is. And again, finding x-intercepts, you can use this to go, because at some point in math, or at some point in your life, especially for math problems, you want to be able to try to use the book as your guide and not rely so much on other sources. But other than that, like I said, just make sure you understand how to use these resources. Make sure you understand how to find these resources. Take some time real fast, please, and actually pause the video or do whatever you need to do and do these two things just for yourself. Open up the textbook, go to page 1, and there is a subtraction problem number 9. See if you can actually find that subtraction problem, and if you can, then you at least know how to find the textbook. And see also if you can find the virtual nerd video for chapter 4.1 to see how long it is. Now, like I said, you don't have to watch it, but just see if you can identify it, because if you can identify that video, then you should have enough skills to go to the book and get what you need, also to get virtual nerd instructions from teachers outside of me. So other than that, like I said, I hope that this helps. I hope that you got something out of this, but just be ready to use these things. And if you don't know how to use it, be sure to ask. Don't just sit and stare at your computer, because it's going to make things worse. But other than that, like I said, I hope you had a good week, and we will be ready to work starting next week. Good luck. Have a good weekend.